Alright guys, this is language fact number 2 from chapter 3. In this language fact, we are going to be learning about purpose clauses, and then we'll go over how to construct a purpose clause. So, here we go. A purpose clause is used all the time in language. You might not realize that that's what it's called, but whenever you explain why you're going to do something or what the goal or purpose of something is, that's going to be used by a purpose clause. For example, in the sentence, I'm going to the store so that I can buy shoes. Which part of that sentence was expressing the purpose? Right? The second part, so that I can buy shoes. The first part is explaining what I'm doing, and then the second part is explaining why. So that why part is going to be an incomplete sentence, right? A dependent clause that is subordinate to the independent clause. So I'm going to the store. That's a complete sentence all on its own. But I can tack onto there what would be all by itself considered an incomplete sentence, so that I can so that I can buy shoes, all right, or in order to buy shoes, to the main clause, all right. So here's the deal. In Latin, the purpose clause is more often than not, going to be introduced with the phrase or word ut. Ut there's not an equivalent word in English, but we can best describe it as so that, or in order to. Well, in English, oftentimes, especially in informal speech, we just reduce it down to. I'm going to go to the store to buy shoes, okay? Since that word to is so short, we often don't think about it. We're not thinking, okay, well, now I'm going to construct a purpose clause and introduce it with to, which is just a shortened form of in order to, right? We don't think that way. But if you think about it, that's what we're doing all the time, right? We're going to start a purpose clause in Latin using the word ut. And then here's the next part. The phrase following ut technically is supposed to be in the subjunctive mood. Why? It's because we're putting ourselves into the shoes of the speaker or even the doer of the action in the main clause and conceiving of what the goal is at the time of doing the action. Now, at the time of performing the action, right, at the time of going to the store, like I'm walking to the store, can I guarantee that I'm going to find the shoes that I want? Can I guarantee that I'm going to have enough money to pay for those shoes? Can I guarantee that the store is even still going to be open there? I mean, a lot of things are closing down these days. Well, what I'm trying to say is, at the time of performing an action in order to achieve another goal, we can't really technically know without a shadow of doubt that goal is going to be achieved. Okay, what this means is that since we don't know, since it's more of a hope, since it's more of a, I don't know, probable thing, we hope so, we have to therefore use the subjunctive mood, right? 2 weeks ago, we learned, 2 weeks ago or last week? Last week, we learned that the subjunctive mood is used to, no, 2 weeks ago, we learned that the subjunctive mood is used to express a hope or something that might be possible. Well, okay, it makes sense. I'm trying to do this in order that I might do another thing, right? Or in order that I might achieve a certain outcome. So, therefore, we just have to use the subjunctive clause to express what that ultimate goal is or what that purpose is. Okay, so we start with ut. Now, we know we're supposed to use the subjunctive, but so far we've learned present subjunctive, and now we've learned imperfect subjunctive. And here's why we need to know both of these tenses in the subjunctive. If you are speaking in the main clause in any of the past tenses, right? Latin has 3 past tenses, you will remember. There's imperfect, there's perfect, and then there's pluperfect. The I was blanking form, I have blanked form, or I did blank form, or the I had blanked form. So if you are using any of these 3 tenses, anything in the past, to describe an action for which there's another purpose, then that purpose needs to be in the imperfect. So I went to the store so that I might achieve this end. Well, in Latin, that so that I might achieve, that's going to have to be in the imperfect subjunctive. Okay, what about present subjunctive? Okay, we're going to use present subjunctive if the subordinate clause, the ut clause, the purpose clause, is subordinate to the main clause, which is in a non-past tense. So if it is present, future, or future perfect, then you're going to use the present subjunctive in the ut clause. Okay, this isn't a distinction that we're used to making in English just because we don't have real tenses in our subjunctive mood in English. Most Californians hardly ever use the subjunctive mood at all. So for various reasons, we're not accustomed to using it. Well, there is a correct way, and really the best way to use it is just to practice. The best way to learn it is just to practice. So I'm looking forward to seeing how you're able to acquire this skill and how it improves your critical thinking skills through practicing it in the rest of the chapter. See you then.